I wrote a bit about homeschooled kids years ago, and if you want to hear it, talk to Comedy Central, because I don't know what the fuck what fucking content vault they locked it in. Well, it might be on YouTube in between It might be on YouTube between a cat hiding in a stocking in a backyard brawl between a pair of twin plumbers and a high school quarterback whose mom is sick and he's fighting to pay for her medical bills. Ooh. I know I went down a rabbit hole here, but I don't care. Also, spend a little time in the YouTube comments section of last week's episode. Be nice to me. It's a free show, you fucking... It's a free show, you fucking homeschooled jags.
Pal, you're good with words. You know that, man?
I think the gym is dumb.
Did Rachel walk in the room? Of course I've eaten a Baconator.
Man, if you ain't doing CrossFit, you can get CrossFit.
You're right. A long burger's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
That's your sitcom right there as a Mr. Fix-It-All who just can't fix his heart.
We will not be defending Atlantic City.
No accounting for taste. If it's something that somebody loves, let's try and celebrate it instead of shitting on it. Welcome to No Accounting for Taste.
Wow.
Okay. Do we want to talk about it?
I know. I'm like, what happened? I thought you were not supposed to read
This is so
comments.
funny. This is like those two sentences, do we want to talk about it and what happened, are the very first thing a parent says to a homeschool kid on their first day of public school.
Okay.
No, this one person was just like, I rarely ever agree with what Shane says. I'm as sensitive as usual today, so I just read comments, so there I am.
I'm
sure
I'm as sensitive as usual today.
It just looks mostly to be about ham.
As it should be.
And
as
Kyle
it should
is
be.
typing.
You bet your ass I am.
Someone said I had something in my teeth the whole episode or something like that. Thanks for letting me. I don't know.
Oh, maybe. Well, let's do a teeth check. Let's see.
I feel good.
All clear. All clear.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all right.
All right. Well,
I mean, you can see yourself, so you also.
All right. I've just thought about that after I said it. By the way.
Yeah.
So last week when I recorded in that hotel room, I just went to Best Buy and bought a mic and then returned it.
Uh-huh.
And the woman at the counter goes, "What's your reason for returning?" And I was like, "I need a reason."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "I don't want it."
Uh-huh.
That's my reason. Like,
yeah.
it was like a weird, like, it's like the way, like, when, you know, like someone's like, you're 5 minutes late for a dinner reservation and the hostess is like shitty with you or something. You're like, I don't know, like, I get it. It's a part of your job, and that's.
But I think what they're actually doing is to check if it's actually broken or not.
Can they put it back on the shelf?
Broken, they can't put it back on the shelf, and if it's fixed, they can.
Oh yeah, I broke it.
What? Just out of spite?
Yeah, I kind of want to wish I had now. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Than like they're checking for it to be I took it very personally.
Like she didn't trust you. Like yes. As if she thought that you went home and used it and then boxed it back up and took it back to the store.
Well, there is video of me like tonguing all over it from last week's epised, so
is this the episode? Are we going?
No. I think we
Yes,
should
this is the episode.
No.
Why we're gonna fucking get on the rails right away now?
I'm not saying get on the rails, but let's pull up to the station. Let's get somewhere near the tracks if we're going with metaphors.
Oh my God in heaven, it's always me.
I know you said you're just as sensitive as normal, but I'm gonna say you're a couple clicks up.
Okay, you fucking yard gnome. Like you don't fucking start with it. I know. I love you. I'm just having a weird time.
All right. Do you want to talk about it?
No, because it's gonna get way worse.
Do we need to pivot? No accounting for taste. Shane's mood swings.
Dear diary. No, I'm just like
emotional
a little,
men. Should we defend emotional men? Look at you you expressed 5 different emotions in 10 seconds right there with your face.
Oh, I'm castable, or so I'm told. God damn it.
Okay.
No, I'm good. I'm just I'm just irritable is what it is.
Okay.
About all that shit. And tired. Yeah, I haven't been getting any fucking rest. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. What are we talking about? Homeschool kids?
Homeschool kids.
Jesus. Kyle.
Yeah, buddy. What's up?
I had sex with a homeschool kid.
Okay.
Oh my
well,
gosh.
You got it. There's so much context necessary for that.
They're just like you.
Were they an adult or were you a child? Because we really need to clear that up right now. Technically, if a runaway is learning anything, they're considered homeschooled.
Jesus Christ.
A victim of kidnapping, if they figure out the microwave on their own, they just fall under homeschool. That's all. I don't know why they're called human trafficking. That lady wasn't going anywhere.
Oh.
I'm trying to buy you time
Okay.
before how you want to approach this. I had sex with a homeschool kid.
Yeah, we're both adults. We were both adults.
Okay.
We're both adults. Yeah.
What was she doing? Was she a fire twirler at the farmer's market? That's how I assume all the homeschool kids end up.
You think they go into like Renaissance fair kind of stuff?
Yeah, or like they're like way more like they're friends with animals more than people.
I think that's maybe
Somebody with a sketch pad at the dog park, you know. Somebody practicing clarinet at the bus stop. This is who I imagine are the homeschool kids when they get to the future.
There is like homeschooled behavior that is like Sean Jordan and I were in Madison at Comedy on State, and we were in the hot tub at the hotel. You know, that's a nice hotel. And we were just chilling, and this fucking weirdo was like, grown man, was just like crawling around the edges of the hot tub while we were in it and on the bar, like putting his feet up to the ledge and stuff. And like, but he was like fully immersed in the hot tub and like kind of spinning. And he would like, you know, like grab it with both hands, like it'd have his feet on the wall. And then he would like turn and like pull a Tom Cruise. And we're just there. Like he had no like consideration for space.
Okay,
like
in just devil's advocate.
So that's like homeschooled behavior, is what I'm saying.
Was he trying to find a jet to hit like a certain muscle group,
like his butthole?
That was not what was going on here.
All right.
No, I also. Why are you on this guy's side?
I'm just trying. Listen, you were wrong about the Best Buy thing. I'm just bringing up this issue.
Sure,
I'm not wrong about the Best Buy thing.
Yeah. We've already established you're incorrect about the Best Buy thing, and you're hypersensitive right now, Shane. Calm down, baby. Wait, I'm just trying to point out.
Baby. What did you watch Swingers?
I just knew.
What is going on?
I just knew that would turn it. I know that this room, there's nothing else in that house right now. It's getting weird in there. God damn it. I'm just saying, this show is about, you know, defending what's not the obvious thing. Maybe my man was just trying to get.
I don't think anyone knows what this show's about, us or listeners.
He's just trying to. My man was just trying to tickle his doorbell, you know.
I used to teach cooking classes to after school to middle school kids, and one of the middle schools let the local homeschool group come and do after school classes.
My.
And so some of the homeschool kids were in the cooking class with the regular kids. I guess that's offensive, but you know what I mean. And
No, it's regular.
and
It's regular. If there are more of them than there aren't, that's regular.
okay, that's fair.
Basis of language.
But I will never.
Homeschool kids are irregular. Take that how you want. You fucking.
I thought Charlene was going to talk about being
Whoa.
in a hot tub with a bunch of middle school kids. That's where I thought the story was
No,
going to.
gross. But I'll
Fun
never
teacher.
ever forget. I can see it perfectly in my mind now. I turned around and one of the homeschool girls was just eating a stick of butter.
That's not.
Neither
that's
of
not
us.
so
neither
weird.
of us were that
That's
repulsed
not
by
that
it.
weird.
Is it not weird? And as she's talking to me, I can see all the butter flakes on her tongue.
I mean,
that was-
if you're gonna
It's fair. I was doing that as a joke. But like,
if you're
I
gonna
ate
eat butter, have some discretion. Like have some manners. Wrap it in a paper towel and be discreet. Yeah, eat it like a corn on
And
the
Did
cob.
she like?
Don't talk
Did
with
she
your mouth.
Did she
Oh, very
banana
much so.
it?
Don't
Did
talk
she
with your mouth
banana
full.
it?
Yeah.
Did she banana it? Like she.
Well, it was unpeeled, still in the wrapper on the bottom, and she just ate it like it was a.
I was gonna
like it was a
say like the
banana.
homeschool kids.
This is like savory ice cream.
Yeah.
Were they like? I would imagine they were either awful at cooking or amazing at cooking.
Well, their fucking their classroom is in the kitchen.
But
probably.
that's what I'm saying. But like their cooking
Like-
would be different. Like they know how to field dress up like a hog. Like, oh, don't worry, we know what temperature to get oil up to. I'm used to making
guess-
sweetbreads out of raccoons.
I suppose that kind of homeschool person is a real condition of circumstance. Like if you live in Montana, 100 miles away from anything,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's like because your dad is avoiding taxes or whatever. But
I never met any homeschool kids. Like the mix of like this. I thought about this recently. For as much as we'll knock homeschool for being this weird thing, Hannah's a great movie, and she was homeschooled, and she could kill everybody.
I don't even. What is this?
That was that movie with
Amazon,
what was
maybe.
who's that beefcake that's in that
Shane Torres.
lookalike? Shane
Torres.
Torres lookalike. Eric Bana.
Oh, okay.
And he's like,
Yep,
he
yep.
lives in the woods. I think he's wanted.
Okay.
It's
And his-
and
and he's
so his
like-
daughter he teaches daughter all the skills to survive, and she's just a murderer. I mean, she's like weird when she makes friends, but she could kill everybody all the time. But I was thinking about how much like, all right, we're sitting here, we're gonna knock homeschool kids, but do we really want to knock homeschool kids when we can also sit here and say, man, school sucked. Everything I thought about high school is wrong. They didn't prepare me for shit. They gave me this skills. So
Yeah.
wait a minute, maybe
Fair.
not in
Fair,
practice, but
fair.
in the idea of homeschool, it could be good. But in practice, it's usually
You mean something
Not
a good idea wasn't executed properly?
well. Again,
You might
it's an
be
you're letting it be unregulated outside of, and we'll get into that next. But I mean, there was somebody that I met at a comedy festival that was very adamant about how they were homeschooling their kids. They were also talking about their full-time job that they had. And I'm like, well, one of those things is suffering. Because I would say that teaching children all of the necessary things to be a functioning member of society is a full-time job. So neither of us, nobody here has kids. I could see looking at the world and being like, I don't think this is what my kids should learn. Also, we can get into the good or bad later too. I don't have any personal experience. I've never met a homeschooled kid that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I've met several, and they always did seem to have this energy of just not harmful, but a bit off.
Socially
Of
awkward.
not read the room, like a read the room kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
It's almost as if English is their second language, although it's not. But they don't understand the nuances of behavior, socialization behavior.
Yeah, you're in a
can
pod.
Almost always tell who is a homeschool kid because there's just something odd.
Yeah, you're in a pod of everybody kind of like
Mhm.
it's your bloodline.
Hive minding.
Everybody's
Yeah.
kind of got the same method of talking, the same way of communicating with each other because you've developed that way from the get-go. And there's been no outside, I don't want to say outside influence on how you might communicate or the way you might want to make a decision. Not just what you're learning, but like, oh, I might think of something. Somebody did it this way differently. And in my family, we don't do it this way. But it is other families and other cultures that help you develop socially and have more of an awareness. Well, hopefully have more of an awareness societally, but.
And there's a value in having a person who doesn't look at things the same way as the rest of a group.
Yes,
I'm sure, like
diversity. Yes.
Yeah. So so I'll give them that. But man, hard to get one on the list to a good party.
But there's but there's also, oh, you're this smart. Let's teach you at that level instead of, okay, I guess you have to drag your ass through what everybody else is trying to catch up to. I mean, we had a couple kids that would jump grades. Not many.
But through homeschooling?
I mean, that's no, through public school of like, oh, you're operating at this level, you get to be bumped up.
Yeah.
But man,
at some point they decided to stop doing that because your social maturity isn't as advanced as the other kids in the grade, and so they found that it was more of a detriment, even though they were smart enough to be.
I can't say I could tell any social maturity between a 6th grade boy and a 12th grade boy. Morons through and through. Absolute fucking idiots through and through. Myself included. The fact that I was considered in the upper echelon of my school and looking at what the average
Chicago
intelligence
public school is.
Suburban. But
okay, sorry.
But yeah,
sorry.
like just looking around going, oh, this was not on par with the standardized testing. They're like, oh, okay. There is. You ever meet anybody from another country and you're like, oh, you learned all that in school?
My friend Yana, she's from Russia. She moved to the States when she was like 5, I don't know, like 9 maybe, like middle of grade school, right?
Yeah.
And she goes, oh yeah, I didn't learn any new math till my senior year of high school. Like
she just knew it all already?
Yeah. Like,
well, you could even say like even here between states, like I moved from Kentucky to Georgia and I repeated a full 2 years in Georgia of stuff I had already learned.
That's
in Kentucky.
Okay.
Wow.
Bananas that Georgia is ahead of the curve on anyone.
No, Kentucky is ahead of the curve on Georgia.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. And look at you walking and talking here with us.
I know.
You're the smart. You're the smart one. And this trio of
look at you not drying your clothes off in the oven all the time. Good for you.
Flip off the telephone.
No, I think that it's.
You really are the leader of this confederacy of dunces.
Well, that was my realization recently. I was like, it was weirdly enough, just through trying to write jokes, it will lead me to research things and try and round out my perspective on how I feel about something. Because I was like, oh, we keep knocking homeschool people, but other than the obvious, they're weird. I also just like, we always shit all over public schools too. So I could see as a parent being like, well, public school's terrible, not even because of the teachers, but because the kids, I don't know, could be gunned down at any moment or just have to fend for their life amongst the other kids who want to beat the shit out of them because it's a war zone socially.
Yeah.
Or what's the option? A private school that has some sort of like religious indoctrination built into it and spend money on it. I could see that being actually a viable option of going, you know what? I'm going to teach my kids the things that I think they need to know. I'm not going to push this curriculum that's like, you better go to college. No matter what, go to college. I'm going to teach them financial responsibility because God knows high school didn't teach us fuck all about that. Here's calculus.
Shit.
No, teach me why credit cards are evil and how to responsibly use a line of credit so I don't bury myself. Those would be That should be along with like shop and woodworking as far as like, oh, here's skills for the real world.
I had a life skills class, is what we had it at my high school.
What was it? Just don't put your dick in an outlet or something?
It was the woman who ran it was nice, but she was clearly a house mom who I guess needed to get out because she was drinking too much wine in the middle of the day or something. But it was
you got homeschooled at school.
The shit she was teaching us was just like how to bake a potato. And like, it was like, this is like, I know we served a lot of potatoes last week on the Thanksgiving episode, so we don't need to defend how great that is. But it was like one of these things. I remember being in it and being like, this is a waste of goddamn time. Like, and I've always been a little cynical. I think I'm just wired that way to some degree. When it comes to like hearing people talk.
Yeah.
So I'm in a really good field. But I just remember sitting there just being like, this is what she's teaching us? They showed us like an etiquette video once.
Yeah.
Like what forks to use and stuff. I was like,
well,
this is Crowley Public Schools.
Yeah.
Like we haven't had a person like our dropout rate was like astronomical. Like girls were pregnant in the 7th grade. Like we were in.
Maybe that's why they need to be taught how to bake a fucking potato, because trigonometry is not going to do anything for them, but they're going to be cooking dinner for 2 soon. And that's, I do think it is like a low key way of being like, oh, these are kids from impoverished homes that probably have negligent parents. You might not know how to make hot food for yourself.
Yeah.
And so they're taking, without like announcing that your parents are degenerates. Hey, here's, you might not know how to do laundry. You might not know how to make food for yourself. Like, this is a skill. Like, this is something that you need because your parents might not be doing that.
Yeah, it is it's like that episode of The Simpsons where the kids get taken away.
Yeah.
And they have to go to a parenting class. And the guy's saying shit like, I can't stress this enough. Milk will go bad if you leave it out. And Homer's like taking notes.
Yeah.
And Marge is embarrassed, obviously. But like, I mean, that's obviously the gag. But it was shit on that kind of level.
Again, but that might have seemed like a waste of time to you. But that's the same shit for like somebody else. We're like, all right, we're doing times tables. And there's a kid going, I learned times tables 3 years ago. Let me move along. So I think that's like a
feral.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to look out for the well-being of like the human well-being of the students. Unfortunately, and again, I'll put that on top of a public school where you probably watch kids coming to school in the same clothes every day, not having a lunch to eat, not being able to eat lunch, like afford the lunch at school. No free lunches in public school. What the fuck? Yeah. That's a good time to yawn. Your compassion just came out through that yawn.
I'm 3 hours ahead.
Oh, so it's 7:30 p.m.
Shut up, Kinane. You're the one talking about how you're covered in grout. I got a little tired. Whatever. I'm sleepy. I've been traveling. But I'm sorry. I just don't agree with these freeloading 9-year-olds. It is. That was like one of those things when I saw free lunch for kids in schools. I was like, yeah, of course. Like, I cannot believe there was opposition of that.
It does not make sense to me.
No. It's like, we're like, for the conservative majority.
In a society where clearly we can't even do anything about children getting gunned down at school, lunch is not going to be on the fucking table. Like that's just the truth of it.
It really is. It is wild that there's no solution for either of those things.
Well, there is. It's just
it's homeschooling. It's homeschooling.
It's homeschooling, or you make the lunch so good the kids don't want to shoot school up. Like, I swear to God, my manifesto says I'm shooting up the school on Tuesday. Don't do that. That's double cheeseburger day. All right. We'll do it on Wednesday. Wednesday's pepperoni pizza day. You make the menu so consistent, like something for them to look forward to, and it's free. I'm not saying it's going to eliminate all the school shootings, but I think it's slip enough medication into that school lunch, level them out.
All the food you're saying would just make kids sleepy and too tired
to shoot.
You're like, yes. Hey, it's lasagna Mondays, everybody.
Oh, God, give him the Garfield. Yeah, give him the old Garfield.
Yeah, hit him with a Garfield. They ain't coming in with no. Do we know? Did we find out if there is? Did we find out, Charlene? Did you happen to see if there? Did we find out? I'm an asshole for saying that. I'm sorry.
You were an asshole for a few things already, Shane. It's all right.
Okay. Well, that really helps. That helps a lot. Fucking prick.
Whoa. Language.
Spicy Shane Torres.
Nicey Shane Torres. He needs to make an appearance soon. I'm wondering, do we know, do they have to have standardized testing of some kind too, like the other kids?
No.
I believe that's what we'll cover in the good and the bad, yes?
Yeah. Yep.
Which is up right after this break.
That's right. From our sponsor, TI-83 calculators. Remember those?
Oh.
Now it's a phone.
Who knew your great state was so filled with instruments?
When is my mind?
Texas Instrument. I thought that was just a trumpet filled with chili. Okay, see you soon. Here we go. Look who's back. A Texas Instrument. An instrument from Texas. A bugle filled with queso fundido.
This is the saddest version of taps I've ever seen. Queso fundito.
I
like it.
I love fun cheese.
Yeah, me too.
Charlene has done a wonderful job of compiling a list of homeschool pros and cons. Let's look at the cons first. Let's look at the cons first. Most school districts do not allow homeschoolers to participate in public school sports teams. Well, you have park district sports.
Mm-hmm.
But the school sports, why? The school sports, I will say that if you're paying it's usually the gym teachers that are the coaches. They coach to make extra money. They're getting paid through the taxes that we allot to pay the school. I feel like that is kind of like bad for the kids, but also it makes sense the way the economy of teaching the kids works, you know.
I think it's a little. It seems like it's bad for the kids, but what a weird. It's also weird to be like, don't be involved in this, but be involved in this through the same.
Yeah.
Through the same body of governing body or whatever. So well,
what homeschool sports could you have? It'd just be like boxing. Like you don't have enough kids for a team, and they're definitely not going to be
Get the Mail.
Yeah,
I was captain of Get the Mail.
Yeah, unless you had sextuplets or something, then you could have a basketball team. Yeah. But you got no chance. You just got to raise a boxer and put him out there.
What a weird interaction. We're
because it's going to be household versus household.
To think of a postal carrier, a guy who spends all his time alone bringing things to other people, and then a homeschool kid just gets the mail every day. That's like a weird friendship. I don't know why it's making me mad so much, but just the idea of them talking every day.
Couple of lonely people being friends.
It's like the only person they meet that's a professional being every day. It's like the only person they know. Like if their parents went away, they would just have to be taken care of by the postman. They don't know anyone else. I don't know why it's killing me. I just have a picture of like a 9-year-old just sitting in a letter carrier bag in my head. I don't know why it's so funny. I'm so tired.
That's something.
Oh, fuck.
What happened to you today, man? Are you okay?
I don't know. I'm in a weird spot, though, dog.
Just because they're homeschooled doesn't mean they don't get to go to the store or anything. They're
I
not
just think it'd be
prisoners.
so funny. They kind of are. I don't know what's going on with me today. Oh, sorry. I got to. What were we talking? Is it? How many of them are religious? Like are being raised? Like, how many of them are not going to public schools because of a religious belief by their parents?
I didn't find a percentage or anything like that, but there is quite a few that are fundamental Christians.
Okay.
I mean, you raise any kid hard with religion as being the focal point.
Yeah.
I think you got a weirdo on your
Got it.
hands.
Yeah.
That's been one of the I feel like it's a clickbaity headline, but it's like more and more parents are homeschooling their kids to avoid the woke culture that's infiltrating public schools. Like, all right, well, how soon before we just have like The Village taking place?
And also, if it means you can't vote at a school board meeting, I'm fine with it. Like,
Oh yeah.
like these fucking goons. But yeah, I wonder if in countries where the predominant religion is not Christianity, like in India where most people are Hindu, if it's like the same kind of approach. It's homeschooling. Is that homeschooling parents can legally educate their children at home and obtain a valid certificate. However, the homeschooling is illegal in India.
How strange that's the
legal. I'm sorry, I read it wrong. I just start new weird rumors. I'm like a Newsmax reporter. I just read one thing wrong and I think it's a news story.
Here's
it's got
what's this? This website is called WeirdUnsocializedHomeschoolers.com. Honest, quirky, real, stereotype smashing humor for homeschooling families. Oh, so this is a very biased website. Here's reasons why homeschool kids are weird. It's weird to be different. It's weird to not do what everybody else is doing, like bathing regularly. They act their age. All right, sure. They enjoy spending time with their parents and siblings. That could go.
That's what
you don't know that.
Age, they left a little. They didn't shake all the wonder out of them by second grade. Just
how to interact with people of all ages. This is This is just a bias. They enjoy learning and do well on standardized tests. Let's see what their reasoning here is. Most homeschooled kids enjoy learning and score well on standardized tests. I suppose this is at least partly due to not being so rushed in the classroom and not feeling compared to other students all the time. Maybe the lower level of anxiety and the more relaxed pace help homeschool kids enjoy what they're learning and be able to soak up information and retain it better. And learning more leads to better standardized test scores. Show me them in the workplace when nobody else was homeschooled and they need a little extra time to be nudged in the right direction.
To be nudged in the
this
right
as a
direction.
good thing, saying they are indoctrinated by their parents. That is assuming that you as a parent are right about everything, and you're not.
That's like
Wendy.
There's like an irrational certitude there.
Yeah, but this is okay. So this is a biased website to make sure everybody feels good that they stunted their children's growth. But
we're moving.
I suppose. I mean, we're here to defend that in a well-rounded homeschooling situation, it probably is better than, here's a classroom with 30 kids and you're all going to move at the pace of the dumbest 5.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you would be able to create curriculum around what your interests are.
Yeah, and not have to and be more specified instead of here's
right
all of social studies. Here's a week on every type of, government in the whole world versus like, oh, we could deep dive on this. You seem to have interest in this. We can actually explore it.
Yeah.
I do think there are benefits to homeschooling.
Yeah.
I think so too. I met someone who was a competitive gymnast, and she was homeschooled.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And she was very like, couldn't have been more charming and read the room well kind of stuff. So I guess like, I think the hang up is like, we're always just like, they're not socialized, and very well. But then like now there's like more ways to socialize kids than ever. And like, also my nephew, like I love him, but his socialization all happens on his phone. That's like where they live.
Well,
so if a homeschool kid has access to that, they're probably not. The knock that I have against it is probably inaccurate.
Well, it's also the same knock I'm making in public schools. Like, oh, you're going to learn at the slowest rate that exists in that classroom. Well, we're generalizing homeschool kids on the ones that are the weirdest ones that we know about. We're probably mingling with plenty of homeschool kids that are just fine, but because that's not brought to our, because they're normal, it hasn't been brought to our attention. And they probably still, their parents were probably still, we're going to go to this social outing. You're going to play rec center sports. You're going to do these other things. That's well-rounded in homeschooling. It's just, okay, homeschool cons, dedicating time to homeschooling can mean a loss of income or reduced time working. So, is the family, do they have the extra income to be able to have their kids participate in all this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Less daily interaction with a large group of kids within the same age group. I'm not seeing that as a con. I needed to interact with like maybe 10 people of my entire class.
Yeah, I think I will say leaving where I was from because the people I was around all the time. Like, maybe it's a good thing at an early age to get some buffer on that. So you have more control. I suppose you have more control as a homeschooling parent. If you can actually like do it correctly. I think it's just such a huge undertaking.
The variable is the parent.
Yes.
Did the parent go to school to learn how to teach kids and understand the psychology of a child and also teach them from a objective standpoint of like, it's your kid too, but also you got to let them make some mistakes. You can't, you got to let them go being able to separate doing a job to help your kid versus being a parent for your kid.
Very much so. And I think I will say this. A couple of the homeschool kids, I would say every homeschool kid I knew, their parents most certainly did not get qualified in any way. Like,
that's the thing. There's no qualification for the parents to be the teachers.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have the problem with the homeschooling. I have a problem with the people who are allowed to homeschool. It's a lot like firearms. I don't have a problem with guns. I just don't think you should just be able to have it.
There's got to be a thing.
But then who teaches the homeschooling teachers? Other homeschooled teachers? Well, no, now they're going to school, so their kids don't have to go to school. They're not going to agree to that.
Homeschooling for homeschooling?
Yeah, I got to go to school so I can make sure my kids don't have to go to school. This is indoctrination, You might just
they're not going to know that
Charlene,
word.
that butter eater might have been, mathematically qualified to work at NASA at the age of 15, but they're sitting there eating butter with an open mouth, and
they're not going to get
hired. You're not going to pass the smell test over at NASA.
The smell test is just how bad they smell.
Yeah, you just live in a nightgown and flip flops eating butter, but goddamn, you're going to get us to Mars quicker than anybody else over there. So there's a part of being well-rounded, not just to fit into society, but don't eat butter at people.
Yeah.
Eat all the butter you want. I'm also not knocking that, but don't eat it at people until you know you're cool with them.
Were there any homeschool kids in your neighborhood?
No.
There was a lot of kids that were kicked out of school And I believe that was the
that
was the end of their
result.
That was the end of their education.
How you know it. God, man, I'm thinking of these.
We had a whole family of
siblings.
We had a whole family of albinos that lived around the corner. Mean as shit. Just
they bite
just pink
and they
just
spit.
pink and mean. Yeah, just pink and mean.
Hold on. They were like a married family, like a
You don't get it.
nuclear.
No. I mean, nothing. No. There was a lot of. No, it was a mom and her 4 albino kids.
Was the mom albino too?
No,
Oh, okay, I thought that was like.
I think the dad just came and
I thought
think the dad came through and laid his bleach seed and split town.
God damn it! Oh, bleached seed.
Yeah. Here's my.
Oh,
Here's some sunburnables.
here's
On to the
my
next
ex-
one.
Here's my extra white.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
just look like a bunch of
Oh,
baby
like-
hamsters running around.
All right, just a bunch of hotel linens.
Yeah, yeah.
God.
They were mean as shit. too.
Mean as
They were mean, but like when you still would play with the bullies, like they were still in the group of the neighborhood kids, even though they were mean, but they're just in the group, and you're like, oh, I guess today you're nice to me, and next week you're an asshole, but these are the
Yeah.
people I hang out with.
Something is not right at home with that kid.
Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
it's what you look back
God.
on that I don't think the dad wasn't there. I think maybe the mom was kind of dating some not great guy. And it's all results. But when you're 7, you don't have perspective. And so yeah, I didn't see those
For
kids in the school that I went to, and we lived a block away from each other. So I don't know what school they were going to, if they were going anyway.
That'd be so funny if you ran into them in the mall in your hometown. You're like, Brian, you look exactly the same.
I've heard from I think my mom
Pink and
said
mean.
one of them works at a place. I think they're
Pink
doing
and
all right. I think they got, I think they kind of straightened out, but
Straight. Got a little son.
yeah,
No,
I can't have any son.
oh man. I don't know.
But so I don't know if there was homeschool kids. I don't know. I knew kids that, like I said, maybe they were being homeschooled, or maybe they were going to like juvie or something. I don't know what the hell they were doing, but
Yeah. I mean, I knew plenty of kids who got like kicked out and then just were like, I have to study for my GED.
yeah.
Yeah, but they were all headed that
But
way.
no,
anyway.
this was not like. No, I didn't mean any parents' choice.
If you're the kind of person, I think homeschool probably works really well in the setting for the kind of people who are prone to just being self-starters and getting shit done. Who can like, you're like,
It might make you a self-starter.
yeah, like there might maybe it could teach you some efficiency, like some self-reliance. So I don't know. I'm not as staunchly anti-homeschool as I once was, but that's probably because I know I'm not having kids.
Well, that's outside of the standardized testing. And I don't know if there's like an element of social services that if the kids aren't going to school where like an outsider can get eyes on them. Here we go. Little legal oversight of educational standards or safeguards against abuse. Now, this is from the Harvard Gazette. And there's a warning on homeschooling. Of course, big education is going to have a warning on homeschooling.
Yeah. So check out the source. Check out the source.
The woke
most
Harvard
famous
Gazette doesn't want you free thinking.
Is there college homeschooling? There can't be.
It's called correspondence courses.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's called
Oh, boy.
what's her name? What was it wasn't Sally Struthers who had the correspondence courses. Yeah, is there college homeschooling? Yeah, it's called University of Southern New Hampshire. There's all kind. It
just says, I googled it. Just the first thing that comes up is University of Phoenix.
yeah, University of Phoenix
course.
Online. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's all it
Phoenix,
is.
yeah.
That you get. Which hey, if it gets you a degree to get you higher up in your job, do it. Go for
Totally.
it.
100%. Yeah.
God.
we do have
Homeschool is
some
unregulated.
calls.
It's a danger to both children and society. All right. One is the answer from the woman. One is the danger of child maltreatment. We got a lot of school shootings that are not, your argument's not holding water right now. And we have evidence that there's a strong connection between homeschooling and maltreatment. I will stand as evidence that there's a strong connection between public schooling and maltreatment.
No
where lunch is just gen pop in the prison yard. Like, oh, thank God my gifted classes kept me away from this
barrel-chested Polish guys walking around making sure no one hits anyone.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah, thank God I had like my advanced placement English classes all morning that kept me away from the 19-year-old junior that's just lurking around trying to stab somebody.
The guy who's driving people to school on the bus. Fucking in my math class. Yeah.
Other dangers are children are simply not learning basic academic skills or learning about the most basic democratic values of our society, or getting the kind of exposure to alternative views that enables them to exercise meaningful choice about their future lives. I agree with that last part. Democratic values of our society. There's no fucking where was the democracy in high school? It was biggest wins.
Yeah, and also like all of these things that this person is listing, like it's all user error, and the school system is that way too. Like, so it's kind of, at least I know the damage I'm putting on my kid if I'm homeschooling. There's some of that, I guess, but
this is bringing up
everything
Go ahead, sorry.
Everything they're saying can be said about the public school system.
That's what I'm saying. So many homeschooling parents are extreme ideologues, committed to raising their children within their belief systems, isolated from any societal influence. So some believe that black people are inferior to white people, and that others that women should be subject to men and not educated for careers, but instead raised to serve their fathers first and then their husbands. Okay, yeah, that's going into the bonkers religious stuff. Or you got racist parents.
Yeah.
Guess what? The racist parents make their kids racist in school anyway.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know about your guys's, but the gangs that were in my high school were not created with diversity in mind. They're not called the Latin Kings because of the number of Caucasian and black people that were in them.
It's a little
the Italian Playboys. They really stuck with the Italian part.
That was,
and we didn't have any black people, so that was it.
I think everything they're saying is like, I mean, we're beating this point to the death, or I am rather.
Yeah,
is that this is all the same kind of fucking, bullshit that can be said about any public school. It probably I mean, if you can afford a private school education, maybe one of the smartest things you could do for your kid.
Yeah,
I mean, like, I don't know what a good private school is like. Looks, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the other thing, though. You gotta like,
where's the crash course? Is it like when they're 17? Like, all right, come in. If you were educated properly, you should be able to bang out this year's worth of tests. But what if they weren't? What if that's that's where I see the problem coming with homeschooling. What if they weren't? And then here's your developmental years that were in a way squandered by inadequate homeschooling. And now you're just like you're Nell, but you can talk, you know, you just raised by fucking morons, but you got like,
my God, we gotta get some young guests on this, because that is a reference that is
She was raised by wolves or something, right?
Yeah, I think that's something. I mean, I know the movie you're talking. I know it too.
All right. Yeah, she comes out of the woods. She can only make sounds and points at stuff. Yeah, we got to guarantee that the kids aren't doing that. So I feel in my 22 celebrity parents who homeschooled their kids, this might be the deal breaker. Because I'm on board with homeschooling right now. I don't know how you feel about it.
Give it to me, babe. I am on board with it as much as I am with public schooling.
I would say,
I think everybody should just be able to do what they want.
And I'd say, like, homeschool, like celebrity homeschool kids, if you're already bonkers millionaires and you can just shoot weirdos,
Fine.
if you could just shoot weirdos into the universe,
Mm-hmm.
do it. They're probably harassed by paparazzi. You're scared to leave your kids out of your sight. Just make freaks. That's all you should do. Angelina Jolie, put your weirdos, just let them only learn like painting. Don't even teach them how to talk. Just let them be little experiments. Here's the celebrities. The Kate and John Gosselin. Oh, that's the one.
What? Is that the reality TV family?
Yeah.
Oh, all this says it's homeschooled
No,
because
never
their
mi-
kids got, this is clickbait. It's from cafemom.com. Whatever. Because they got expelled. That's why they were homeschooling. This doesn't count. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. Yeah, you're fucking bonkers and your kids are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Jenners or the Kardashians, get your bloodline away from, and do not poison the well of human beings.
You're already infesting us enough through internet
get
shit.
your
so,
offspring
yeah.
away from everything.
Okay.
Farrah Abraham. Oh, the teen mom who went like quadruple anal. Yes, your kid does not need to be around the world. You're fucked. Janelle.
These
I don't
people
know
are-
who this lady is.
What's her name?
Janelle Evans.
I don't know who that is either. I'll find out. Keep going.
Mayim
Janelle Evans.
Bialik. Oh, she's like super smart.
Yeah, that was the only one on the list that really made sense to me because I'm like,
Yeah.
she's like a doctor.
Maya Bialik.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's super smart. I tried.
Janelle Evans is another. I think she's another teen mom person.
Mm.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise. Yeah, you got like how are you going to teach the child of Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise? How are you going to give an F? How are you going to give an F to Surrey Cruise
I mean,
on a
there's
spelling
like
test?
there's a weird. Again, religious stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Your dad believes that that the ghosts of aliens are stuck to his skeleton.
No
Also, you spelled because wrong. Like how are you even going to do that? Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise. Yeah, these are Jennifer
Right.
Lopez. But okay, and this is what I ask: are they homeschooling, or is a tutor coming in
Mm-hmm.
to like you got enough
I would
money to
imagine-
have a tutor come in and do that specialized teaching? That's a hell of a way
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean that's for the uber rich celebrity life.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not bad.
Angelina Jolie has enough for a basketball team, so she could even do the sports if she wanted to. Tina Knowles. I don't know who that. Oh, that's a Beyonce. That's Beyonce's
Yeah.
child. Beyonce was homeschooled up until the 9th grade. That's because you got a superstar kid. You got to do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of okay.
Were you? Wow, really?
Yeah, a lot of these are just Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson's kids were homeschooled.
But Beyonce was kind of creative. Wasn't like she like a child performer too? Wasn't she like sort of
I think they were trying to like
I'm not
be cooked up into the
produce her and to make her a celebrity though, like a star, right? Like an entertainer. She had kind of a different path.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
now you got kids that, how do you feel about this? You got a kid that has an exceptional talent in something. And you don't want to be, this is where you don't want to push them because that's rough on a kid if they just don't want to do the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there's been enough movies made about this relationship between a parent and a child. But here's something that makes you different than the other kids and something that you can maybe excel at and it might provide a different future for you. If it was nurtured and focused on early on.
I mean, it's
Well, like for example, the Serena and what's her sister's name?
Yeah.
They were homeschooled. Like that makes sense
Yeah.
to me because sports. And the gymnast who's the GOAT, whatever her name is, she was homeschooled. And I'm like,
Simone
well,
Biles. Yeah, a lot of
Simone
people
Biles.
in
Like,
that
makes
space.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, Paul, people in spaces like I guess with like top tier athletics and maybe I would assume other things that can lead to
You have
maybe
an
you're-
extraordinary ability in some things.
Yeah.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you. I would assume like as long as they enjoy doing it,
Right.
it is the best approach if they want to have a good life like that. But from that, like let's say they go to the pros or whatever, they start making a lot of money, and there's their celebrity status. I suppose there's a real value in preparing people that way. But then, like, I don't know, are they fucked if, like, say one of them blows out a knee, and now they don't really know, like.
Yeah.
It depends on if they're
now
still
they don't-
getting the
and they don't-
education.
And then they don't know how to read. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but like that's me assuming they're not getting educated.
Right.
Like, and that's not the same thing as somebody trying to put their child on a path to success, and maybe their education is secondary to their career trajectory.
So I went to Columbia College in Chicago for my third and final attempt at college. And when I went there, you did not need a high school diploma to go because it was a liberal arts school. And I think that was a smart move on their part because I think they addressed the fact that just because you didn't do well in high school or maybe even dropped out, maybe it is because you are more of a creative mindset and nothing in a public school ever offered or challenged you in a way that made you want to learn about it, but that shouldn't stop you from getting an education, especially like oh, great. You're a phenomenal, like it's a heavy film school. Now it's video game design. It's a lot of stuff like that. Maybe they do know, like, yeah, can you read the textbooks? Can you write? Can you do the basic math? I bet you can. Here, when you come to this college, you have to take some basic math. I still had to take math after high school because that's how behind I was.
I fucking hated that. Me too.
That's how behind I was in math in high school. And I still had to take it in college because I was so bad. I did not test out of it. But I thought that was a smart move on Columbia's part to be like, also, you're paying for this. I think every college should basically be like, if you want to pay for it, get in here. For how much fucking colleges? Fuck a high school diploma. Did you get your GED? Did you whatever?
That's a good point. You should be able to say fuck it. Like this, the only thing I'm paying for in my entire life is college that I didn't get what I wanted. Like, I mean, maybe not the only thing, but it was like certainly the most expensive thing.
I would
that I ever paid for it. I didn't I couldn't get it the way I couldn't order it. I had to
I would gamble to say that the kids that were fuck ups in high school are probably a lot of them gainfully employed as a blue collar tradesperson. And the kids that were exceptional with exception of like, there's a few of them that like are probably either on super high stress jobs that they've got into, or a lot of them are just like, I don't know, man. I kind of got lost in it all. Like, not like this, but like the middle, like advanced placement, but not the top tier. Here's your scholarships kind of thing. But, I'm smart enough that I guess I'll get into something.
Above average, like, I guess I'll be a lawyer.
No, like if I wasn't doing comedy, it would just be like it would be like a warehouse management type of thing because I wasn't smart. But I was also not in that gear shift of like, hey, you should maybe focus on these trades.
That's like,
which is an unfair thing to say about the trade. Like I hated every time somebody used DeVry as like a punchline. Oh, this guy probably went to college at DeVry. Yeah, and he's fucking building your house,
and he's making $68 an hour.
Yeah, he's crushing it, and he's doing something you need, not something you want.
Yeah. 100%. This mechanic is an idiot. Tell me why he's got this big fucking house.
Not to say that some mechanics can't be idiots.
We should do trade. We should do trade schools as a subject.
I mean, I don't know who's knocking a trade school.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, is DeVry like a trade school?
Yeah, I would more knock. Yeah. I think we should defend. I think if the tougher thing would be to defend hack punchlines.
God.
Using trade schools as a cop out for calling somebody dumb. Anything about eating ass. Anything about.
Yeah.
We both have jokes how we shouldn't be talking about it.
Yeah. Let's let it go. Let's go. I'm going to get all riled up on it, but I do think, I think I'm in favor of homeschooling. I might be a little closer to 50-50 than I was on how both of them were kind of.
I do.
Fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we go to the call, I think it is weird to think like who it's about whose choice is it? Because like some of these celebrities I'm reading, it's like when a kid's 15, they're like, I just don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Or am I?
Yeah. Like I just like.
I know somebody who like because of the junior high he went to. It was the same junior high that he went to, and he's like, that place fucking sucked. And gave his kid like, if you don't feel it, no problem, we got you. And I think homeschooled for the years of junior high, and then went to high school.
Regular high school.
Yeah,
That's an interesting. I think it's I guess part of it probably comes in like before we get to the callers. There's some stuff that like the socialization thing can be taken care of, and it probably already is through social media half the time, anyways, which is another fucked weird thing. But and also I think my real issue might be like parents not doing it, like just like them not having the means to do it right. You know, like
if it's the kid's choice and then the parents are like, oh, I guess I want to do the best for my kid, but they're in the position of having to learn how to homeschool, or it's the parents going, I don't trust anything, I'm going to raise my kids right, which is what the Harvard article was talking about. It's almost it like borders on abuse in the way that they're not getting the proper thing. It's like a neglect of education, or it could be considered.
Yeah, if they get it the right way, then it's like it's probably better.
Yeah,
they probably do better. Yeah, they're probably absorbing more.
I'll say.
Have you read the book Educated? I think it's Educated. Have you read that book?
No.
Oh, well,
I went to public school. I don't read books for fun.
Oh, right. Sorry. I think it is actually a true story, but it's about a girl who was homeschooled her whole life, and it was a fundamental homeschool. And she was the only one in her whole entire town. Like the whole town was basically homeschooled. And she was the only one that broke out and ended up going to college. And when she went to college, this just stands out at me, but when she went to college, she asked what the Holocaust was, and everyone thought that she was being vile, and she literally had never heard of it before. So there's like, so if like anything, if you do it correctly, it can be amazing, and if you do it poorly, it's gonna be like a bad improv show.
That's the thing. Yeah, what if you just forgot to teach them like something
real basic.
Like you're crushing it. You're crushing it at homeschooling your kids.
Right.
But you forgot like some basic thing that a 19-year-old.
Like they're through the roof on math.
Yeah. But
but
we forgot to teach them the Holocaust. Shit.
The Holocaust.
It's your driving home after dropping them off at college.
That was the day I got the flat. That's me. That was the day I got a flat. I remember, and then I locked my keys in the car, and now my daughter.
Now they're suspect of the whole process. I swear to God, that was the only thing.
Accidental anti-Semite.
Holocaust, and that the Earth is round and not flat. We forgot that one too. Fuck.
COVID.
Hey, everybody got a taste of homeschooling during COVID.
For sure.
True. That's true.
That's it. I read. This just goes to the point of like what Charlie was saying about that woman. I read this book called Rising Out of Hate about this kid who was raised as a white supremacist. Now he's an anti-hate activist.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
His name was Derek White, I think. But
that's
he
convenient.
like this. Yeah, he was. I think he was homeschooled, if I remember correctly. But like even just the amount of like certainty you get from anything from a parent, like just like. And then once you're like finally sent off, he goes to college in the book, and that changes his life and his perspective.
Right.
But once you're finally sent off outside the guise of your parents, it happens to everybody, whether we realize it or not, to some degree. I think. That's what I'm trying to get to.
I mean, it's even like as simple as like my mom used words that were not real words, and I went into the world then using them. And it wasn't until I would use them in public that somebody else would be like, Dimmy Quivers is not an actual word.
Love it. 7-year-old Charlene. I was drinking fountains off the cocktail.
The juice that comes out of the mustard, if you don't shake it, is not called must pus. That's made up. But you know what I mean? Like, it's not until you experience diverse voices that you realize your mom is insane.
Must puss. Hey,
I got a taste. I got a taste.
Let's go to the call.
Oh, me and old Muspus bringing you back around to the calls.
And you're my little Demi Quivers. Anyways,
This is like shock jock DJs, but from the 1920s.
up next, the hot new hit, Oh Susanna. Let's go to the calls.
Okay.
In the second grade, I was getting bullied. And my mom decided we can't have that. So she just took me out of school entirely. Great idea. Wow. Really showed them. So I got homeschooled. And homeschooling is mainly just figuring out what the lesson is by sifting through Bible verses, even in math, like math and science and all that. But here's the kicker. You can have math and science and English and all that jazz.
Sure.
But it's mostly chores. It's mostly just put you to work, shut up. This is learning. You know, you really, hey, you want to learn how to scrub the driveway? Cool.
You want to learn?
All right, I learned how to use a pressure washer. That was great. Yeah. So if you're going to homeschool your kids, fucking be about it. Because my brother tried to homeschool his 13-year-old. Now they're 15, his 13-year-old twins. Now they're 15, and they all said that they want to go back to public school. That's how bad you have to be at homeschooling, that 15-year-olds know that public schools have shootings, and they're like, yeah, we're good.
I'll take my chances.
Yeah.
Thank you for your call. You seem...
Yeah, and sharing your personal experience. Yeah.
I feel like that's operator error. I feel like that's an instant like, that's indentured servitude right there, or whatever we would call it.
A little touch of it's mostly chores. It's mostly chores. Is one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
Was it mostly chores, or is it just you were never used to like putting away the dishes in the daytime, and that's part of it? That's like, how do you take a kid from school into homeschooling? Like the transition has to suck.
Yeah, and also like, what if like you just run into your lunch lady in a grocery store?
Yeah.
You know, like, where you been? Oh, I don't go to regular school. I go to school at home now.
Yeah, and you're there shopping by yourself.
Yeah.
You mean learning how to
shop.
Life skills. We were talking about how we needed more of that.
I didn't. I mean, if I got taken out of school every time I was bullied, oh boy.
No shit.
Been rough from the get-go.
That guy was awesome. Great call.
Yeah, hope you're doing better.
Here's the next one.
Hey, Shane and Kyle, it's Pat from Lombard, Illinois.
Yeah.
Calling to discuss homeschooling. It's really the only thing you can make an argument for is that the modern public school system is kind of a warehouse for children until the parents get off work. You could also argue that it's nothing more than a clearinghouse for making sure we have future compliant workers in the meantime. But that's really the argument that you're going to have to use against the fact that every homeschooled kid I've ever met is a fucking weirdo. But yeah, whole podcast. Take care.
Lombard, thanks for the call.
I really thought he was going to start using the word sheep a lot. Like,
yeah, he was at one of the Glenbards. That was one of the teams that my high school would play. I never went to a sporting event in my high school through ever once. I went to my sister's volleyball games a couple times. That was about it. I do see that that argument? You're just making, you're just churning out more fodder for the late stage capitalist grind.
More grist for the mill.
Yeah. But man, you can't. They can't all be jugglers.
It's not.
You know? Okay, what do you?
Somebody's got to shovel the elephant shit.
We need somebody who's willing to sit there and go, okay, let me transfer your call. We need somebody. Maybe not for long. You know what? Maybe AI will determine. Maybe AI in a while we will have the educated higher up corporate elite who that's actually now the bottom of the barrel job because they're just grinding but they get paid well, and just groups of artists that are subsidized by the economy to keep life worth living. Maybe, I don't know.
God.
Probably not.
Sounds
Probably not at
sick.
all, but
Let's go to the next one, please.
okay.
This is the last one, actually.
Oh, 3. The
Hey,
other ones
Kyle.
probably weren't
Hey,
allowed to use their
Shane.
phone.
Okay, let me start it over.
The phone is only allowed to be used after 5 o'clock,
Here we go.
like school.
Hey, Kyle. Hey, Shane. This is Anthony from Oklahoma. Gonna go see Kyle here in Tulsa in December.
Thanks, man.
Anyway, the subject is homeschooling. I am sure that there are people out there who are absolutely killing it at homeschooling, but the only experience I have with it is with my niece and nephew. They were being homeschooled by their mom. She divorced my brother-in-law, married a guy who got killed committing a home invasion, then married a guy who was a fundamentalist doomsday prepper, and she decided to homeschool. I'm sure that this will absolutely prepare them for the real world out there, and they will not end up doing twin cest porn because they look so much alike. Oklahoma out.
God damn, dog.
Oh my god.
Princess.
I mean, I will. Here's one of those
I
things.
got a little bit of the must pus in him.
The setup's rough, but then you say preparing for the real world, and you're in Oklahoma, and he's a doomsday prepper. Might kind of be a little bit of both. I don't know. I could see it going either way.
Yeah.
Again, there's no qualifications for the teachers in these situations.
That's very true. Great call.
Great call.
God damn.
Imagine if your entire education is based around what weekend dad thinks you need to know. Listen, they're called arrows. They're called bolts, not arrows. Now we're going to watch 3 hours of Barney Miller and crush this case of Miller Lite.
My mom's boyfriend taught me math. Every can is worth a nickel.
If you do have to eat a human being, start with the thighs and the ass. It tastes most like ham. Don't ask me how I know.
Toes pickle well.
Just make sure to get some must pus out of the can before you go diving in on them.
What was the other word you used, Charlene? Diffa-willies?
Demi-quivers.
Demi-quivers.
That's just the South.
No.
Really?
No.
You don't have regional terminology?
Yes, that just isn't one.
Demi-quivers?
And my mom's from Canada. Yeah.
Oh, it's Canadian?
No, it's not that either. It's made up. It's not a real word.
Doesn't even come up on the
What do you
Google.
think about it?
I think
What does demi-quivers mean?
It's like when your cat suddenly has to be in the other room and then he has to be
When
back
you're
in the room.
explaining a made-up word and your metaphor is when starts with when you're a cat.
But
Does
this
not help.
is what it means according to her. So when your cat runs suddenly and has to be in the other room and then runs back and has to be back in that room. In a dog, I think it would be called the zoomies, but it's called the demi-quivers if it's a cat, according to my mom. Thank you.
I think it works just fine as a word for that thing.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. Must pus has got to go. That's our next shirt.
Plus just is upsetting. Well, best of luck
It's the
to your
wet
sister's
juice of-
kids, caller.
Yeah, no shit.
Maybe try and get them for a weekend here and there.
Yeah, be a good uncle and God. Well,
before we go, Shane, your upbringing, what do you wish you learned or are glad you did learn from school and from your parents?
Let's do both.
Question to everybody. What are you glad you learned from school? What are you glad you learned from your parents?
I like this. This is like our white trash moment of zen.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring it back down. Bring it to a wholesome place.
I like this. I wish I had learned, I think about this a lot, to just go try things instead of people being like, and if you couldn't try it, to make it. Like in school, because like that was like, they was like,
yeah.
I would hear about like art schools. There was none of that shit where I grew up.
Yeah.
Like at all. Like, it was like, oh, we don't have it. So you can't do it.
Yeah.
Because I wish they taught like more self-reliance and just be like, well, you can do it. Do your version of it. Like make it yourself.
Self-reliance.
I wish that kind of.
Ooh, that's a big
Yeah,
one.
I thought that was encouraged. I wish that was encouraged a lot more.
Yeah.
And then the life skills thing, I really was the other thing I wish I could have. Like you were saying, like, here's how this functions in normal society. Like, learn these things.
Yeah.
Because
home ec.
How to balance a checkbook.
How to stitch a button onto a shirt.
Like,
yeah.
How to set a sketch. How to plan out a week. That would be fucking useful for me. For somebody to seem to look past Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I think what I was glad about public school, being in public school, was the diversity, was being like, oh, this person introduced me to this type of music, and this like art class taught me about different types of art. Listeners have to remember this is all pre-internet. You couldn't just on a whim look up something you were curious about. You could, but it was at the library, and that was a whole endeavor.
Yeah.
Having that, I do think the separation of like, okay, what I learned at home was like how to be hopefully a decent person. I think my parents, in the moments that they could, taught me like fairness. I remember one of the albino bully kids was being shitty, but then I was shitty back at him. Like they did something to me, so I spit at one of them or something. And my mom came out and was like, was yelling at both of us, like was yelling at the kid, like go back. Well, he spit at her. Somebody else ratted me out. She's like, Kyle, we don't spit. Like she still was gonna reprimand me in front of them because it's like not to be mean, but like still make sure I was learning the right thing. Making sure I wasn't going to be shitty while knowing these kids like were nightmares all the time.
Fucking trash bags.
Yeah, but making sure that I wasn't going to stoop to that level, like trying to be decent about it. So that like having that kind of stuff around home, like my mom didn't work. So like for better or worse, she was always aware of what we were doing, whether we wanted it or not.
Yeah. Charlene, take us out on this.
I wanted to know Charlene's lessons. Yeah. What did you like?
What did I like about high school? I can't really think of anything because high school was a dumpster fire.
Okay. Bad scene.
But yeah. But my mom taught me that if you don't know how to do something, you can figure it out. Anything can be done. She taught me how to use a table saw. Like she was just like anything you can figure it out. Just do it. So
little gumption.
It is a good lesson because no matter what you come across, you're like, well, let's just slow down. We can figure this out because nothing is that hard.
I got the opposite of that.
Me too. And that's why you're here, Charlene.
Charlene, how many times have you watched Shane and I lose our fucking minds because something can't work? But if it doesn't work on your end, you're like, all right, give me a second. Don't worry, I'll plug this into this.
Yeah. And we're just, meanwhile, my fucking blood pressure is through the roof.
That's why Charlene's on the ones and twos, keeping the ship sailing. We're on the look at me end. Am I making everybody happy?
Homeschool, must, yay.
I think that's a great way to end it.
I think so too.
Shane, I believe there's a comedy special of yours coming out soon.
December 10th on YouTube, the blue-eyed Mexican Shane Torres makes his premiere. Shane is a comedian.com and Shane Torres across all platforms. And you can catch me in Madison, Wisconsin, the week of Thanksgiving at Comedy on State.
Beautiful.
Kyle?
Beautiful.
Tell them where they can find you.
Oh, it's just Kyle Kinane on all the what have yous. Where am I going to be? Chicago. We're doing the old Dahlia Hall Monday and Tuesday. They are sold out. Sorry. No need to promote it and rub it in your face. Hope my man from Lombard got a ticket. After that, Terragram, Los Angeles, December 7th. I think there's like 20 tickets left to that one. So get them if you can get them. And Oklahoma City, December 14th, 15th, and 16th. Do you even know I'm coming? Ticket sales are trash. Tulsa, looking pretty good on the 17th. My man got one there. But Oklahoma City, apparently, I don't know. Did I drag my ass across the mayor's face last time I was there? What did I do to you, Oklahoma City? That is December 14th, 15th, and 16th. KyleKinane.com. That's where you can get tickets for the show that I'm doing in your city, you fucking podunks. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I like you guys.
Yeah, Buck. Yeah, you dimmy-withered fucks. All right.
Dimmy Quiver.
Dilly Quiver.
Dimmy Quiver. Shut.
Dilly Quivers.
I hate to be a stickler about. I hate to be a fun bunny about this, but it's a Dimmy Quiver.
Get your fake word right.
All right, get your fake word right. Hola. Okay, everybody. Thanks to everyone for listening. Thanks to Charlene for producing this podcast. Thanks to my co-host Kyle, and thanks for nothing world to me. Anyway. I don't know. I was in a mood earlier, but I'm better now because I was hanging out with my friends.
That's sweet.
And I just wanted to have a fun. Yeah. Check us out. Follow the podcast. Subscribe on YouTube. Do all those things. And share this fucking podcast, for God's sakes. The least you could do, you fucking freeloading Dimmy Quivers. All right. We'll see you next week. This has been on the All Things Comedy Network. Bill Burr's Propaganda Machine. Meow.